先敬罗衣后敬人。
People respect the attire before the person. Words can humble a gentleman, and fine clothes can deter a petty soul. You've likely heard the saying, people judge you by your clothes before they get to know you, and I paid a devastating price for this very truth. I only recently discovered there's a first half to this old saying, and it's really thought-provoking. I'll keep it a surprise for now and share it at the end. Back in 2019, my startup was seeing some small wins after more than 3 years of grinding. We had landed nearly 80 million RMB, roughly $11.1 million in design contracts, so I traded in my 100,000 plus RMB, around $14,000 Buick Regal for a BMW 5 Series. I never saw myself as a particularly materialistic person. I decided to upgrade the car because I truly believed it was holding us back from winning projects. It all started with a small gig with a design fee of no more than 500,000 RMB, about $69,400, and we were liaising with a mid-level manager from the client's team. The meeting with their CEO went incredibly smoothly that day. I spoke confidently and articulately, and the two colleagues with me looked sharp and put together, as we'd say back home in Guizhou. I felt our drive and design expertise came through perfectly. Their CEO even walked us out personally, but the moment he saw the three of us squeeze into my old Buick Regal, I could catch a faint look of disappointment on his face. Sure enough, when I followed up with that manager the next day, he told me their CEO had met another team recommended by a colleague and had chosen to give the project to them. He added, almost apologetically, they drive a Porsche Panamera. Plenty of people had urged me to get a nicer car before. Quoting that exact saying about judging people by their clothes, my coworkers especially felt this way on business trips. The cramped back seat of the Regal often had to fit 3 people, and once even 4, every time they rode in it. They joke, "Come on, Jun. You're the boss of 30 people. Please get yourself a decent car." I always told them, let's hold out a little longer, but out in the field, I could also pick up on the subtle looks from clients and contractors when they saw my Regal, like they were thinking, you talk a big game, but this is what you drive. After actually losing a project over this, I made up my mind, whether it was really about the car or not. I couldn't let my team's hard work go to waste over something like this. And I couldn't let the friends who trusted us look bad in front of their own leadership, so I went ahead and bought the 5 Series. Was there vanity in it? Let's be real, I'm an 80s-born guy who grew up in the countryside. If I said I had no longing for fancy houses and nice cars, I'd be lying to myself. When I first got behind the wheel of that BMW, I definitely felt that giddy rush of making it, the thrill of someone from a poor background finally striking it big. I drove it straight home to show my parents, wanting to prove their son had built something of himself, that they hadn't raised him for nothing. I also felt like people looked at me differently when I went out. Looking back now, most of that was probably just in my head. The irony is that the car never helped me land a single extra project. If anything, everything went downhill right after I bought it. Winning projects got harder and harder, my marriage fell apart, and eventually I ended up a single dad saddled with 4 million RMB, around 556,000 USD in debt. 2 years later, after my divorce, that BMW 5 Series was completely totaled in a fully avoidable car crash. So what exactly is this attire that people respect first? Lately, I've been sharing my story and reflections on short video. A lot of viewers think I'm making up tales, that I don't look like someone who's accomplished all that. Some even attack me, saying my appearance is why I'd fail at any line of work. To those people, I guess my plain style and tired, worn-out face are the attire they judge. But I've also gotten countless comments and DMs from people cheering me on, saying they've lived through the same struggles, that they've rewatched my videos many times. To them, my honest story and genuine words are the attire that truly counts. And that first half of the saying I teased earlier? It goes, words can humble a gentleman, fine clothes can deter a petty soul. Take a moment to let that sink in. Hope this gives you something to think about.
Your outward image is your entry ticket, but inner strength is your true lifelong pass. Use fine attire to deter petty minds, and thoughtful words to win over people of principle. Treat image as a strategy and competence as your core foundation. Why do people respect the clothes before the person? Social reality. This worldly mindset was already depicted in the Reproof of Fanshu, a Zayu drama from China's Yuan dynasty. It reflects the deep-rooted snobbery and bias of judging a person solely by their appearance. Cognitive shortcut. When information is asymmetric, people rely on external markers such as clothing and vehicles to form rapid judgments. This is essentially a mental efficiency heuristic. Psychological effects. The primacy effect dictates that first impressions form within 45 seconds. The halo effect then leads people to generalize a person's physical advantages onto their ability and moral character. Reality. For ordinary people, those with proven strength can let their competence carry their image. For most ordinary people, however, their outward appearance is often used to define their capability. Attire deters the petty. Words prevail with the virtuous. Attire to deter petty people. The point of dressing well lies in neatness, appropriateness, and presence. It sends a clear signal: I have boundaries, and I am not to be taken advantage of. This naturally discourages snobbery and manipulation. Words to win over people of integrity. When connecting with principled, thoughtful people, trust and respect are built through sincere, logical, and cultivated speech, not superficial flair. Don't mistake fine clothes for true substance. The lesson from the story: after upgrading to a BMW 5 Series, the vlogger did not see his career improve. Instead, he sank into debt and a marital crisis. This goes to show that outward glamour can never replace real capability. Appearance depreciates. Ability compounds. The advantage of looks diminishes over time, while competence and wisdom grow in value year after year. The worth of inner substance. The ancient Chinese philosopher Zunzi once said, "Judging the form is not as good as evaluating the mind." Genuine, lasting respect comes from moral character, talent, and wisdom. How to move forward: value both image and substance. Moderate self-presentation on important occasions. Present a clean, polished image to lower others' cognitive cost. This is basic social etiquette and professional conduct. Cultivate your inner strength. Put your main effort into improving professional skills, cognitive depth, and vision. Let your inner substance fully support your outward reputation. See people with discernment. Don't be dazzled by others' fine attire, but don't neglect your own image management either. Conclusion: treat image as a strategy. Use attire and words to adapt to different situations. Treat competence as your foundation, and keep growing your inner value. Only then can you stay true to yourself while navigating real-world rules and walk a steadier, longer path.